Hello there. I'm Ben. I'm here with Olympus here, and we're going to be having a discussion of the new up and coming Star Wars Outlaws. It should be coming out in the next few days, either on early access or the first official day. So, if you're watching this in the future, hopefully it's already out, and hopefully you can still access it. Fingers crossed this is going to be as anticipated as me and Olympus are going to be liking. So we're going to be just summarising a few things that we like the sound of or don't like the sound of, and our thoughts and aspects. So this is came up was me going to be asking Olympus a question just in general chat. Is what are you thinking of it? What's your likes, dislikes? What would make this good for you for a game? Because we definitely
Yeah, so this is set between episodes 5 and 6, so between the movies of The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, and follows a scoundrel called Kay Vess, who's seeking, and I quote, freedom and the means to start a new life alongside her favourite companion, Nyx. I say her favourite, our favourite companion, Nyx. We've not even played the game yet, but how adorable is Nyx? It's so, so cute. Um, she will
totally.
be, yeah. She will be exploring a variety of different planets and different situations, getting all embroiled in the criminal underworld of the Star Wars universe, which I'm very, very looking forward to exploring properly in this open world game by Ubisoft. Um, Loads and loads of features, loads of mechanics and different things that they have revealed in the lead up to this game launching. We'll only touch on a couple of them, I think, as we go through this video, sort of the highlights that Ben and I really want to talk about. And as Ben mentioned before, I will be getting hold of this game and giving it a good playthrough when early access starts, which will be, as of recording date, on Tuesday 27th. I believe, if I remember seeing the dates right, it actually releases in the UK, where we are, on Monday 26th at 11 p.m.
Oh wow, God.
Yeah, I'll need to double check that, but I think that's right. So that's it for a sort of very brief summary of the game. Without any further ado, why don't we get in and start off by talking a little bit about the graphics and the environment?
Definitely, definitely. From what we've seen coming out from various companies, or not necessarily company. Oh yeah, I suppose Ubisoft. Well, in their trailers, in what we've seen people play through, they looking like in the graphics. They don't look like they're the upfront graphics in the world. But they don't look like rubbish either. I think the planets look nice in my opinion when it comes to the things, and the characters look good in my opinion. Um, the only one I've seen that maybe not great is the layout image. This is not necessarily the graphic. This is just how it looks when you're trying to buy stuff from a vendor, which is like I just don't like all the stuff up on the right hand side and the vendor on the left. It just looks odd to me.
The UI
But
looks a
that's
little
not
bit
as
clunky.
yeah, yeah. That I agree. Uh, that could be my that's me. Um, as for the environment, oh, actually, do you have any opinions on the graphics before we?
I thought right away, very, very pretty. It's not Red Dead Redemption 2 level graphics, but I think with the recent exposure we were given to some of the different features that you get on the PC version, if you've got the right types of graphics cards, there are elements of the graphics which are actually pretty stunning. They've got reflections down to a T. They look beautiful, depending on where you are. I think there's actually a scene where you're sort of stalking through an Imperial ship and you get the lighting reflection off of the ground, and it shows you a comparison between without a certain setting on and with the setting on. And with the setting on, it looks spectacular. So I think it depends very much on the rig that you've got to play. But one of the good things that I'm seeing about this game is that you don't need an extortionate machine in order to play it, but it looks perfectly playable and very, very pretty on the standard graphic settings. And the other thing I would add from an environment point of view, I've been absolutely enthralled looking at some of the trailers that they've been giving us, especially the gameplay trailers, seeing certain settings come to life, in particular settings that we are familiar with, like Tatooine. Where there's a point where Kay is walking through the middle of, I'm going to assume it's Mos Eisley. It might not be, it might be another town, but let's assume
There's
for a
two
minute.
towns been mentioned, I believe. Mossy Isley and another one which I know is not out ahead, but
Mos Espa,
I
maybe? I need
remember.
to have a look. I need to have a look.
There might be another one, I think, but I could be wrong.
Cool, cool. So it's just brilliant. The detail that the devs have put into these settings, they feel alive when you're walking through these trailers anyway. Lots of people bustling around, lots of interactions going on around you. You've got the conversations going on around you, but it looks like a lot of effort has gone into designing these environments, which is beautiful. And even if you extend that out and look at some more of these sort of outskirts areas, so outside of the towns, you've got scenes where there's long grass that you can crawl about in if you're trying to go for a stealthy approach to something, which reminds me very much of Assassin's Creed. And again, the way that the grass is like blowing in the wind and that even that level of detail, it just looks very, very pretty.
No, it does. I think there's been five, or at least five planets mentioned. I believe Tatooine, Kantanoka, Kashara, Akavi, Kiva, Kajimi, I believe. And yeah, the ones I have seen do look really nice on that one. I don't know if it's quite as open world as I maybe would like, but multiple planets, if you probably put them all together, it does add up a bit. Anyway, gameplay. You briefly mentioned that compared to Assassin's Creed. I can't remember
Assassin's
which one you said.
Creed, yeah, it was Assassin's Creed. I try. You know me, Ben. I love to digress. I'm doing my best not to. The gameplay. There's so many elements for us to talk about here. Um, I'm go. What we could go for? Let's go with abilities. Um, in fact, no, we're going to hold on to abilities because that links into something else I want to talk about in a moment. Why don't we talk about Nyx? So this cute little critter that we've got running around with us, who's absolutely adorable. Very, very similar, I guess, at a high level, looking at the mechanic to the mechanic you see in the Star Wars Jedi games with Cal Kestis and BD1. So Cal, for anyone who hasn't played those games, the protagonist Cal has a droid called BD1, kind of small, similar size, I guess, to Nyx, who can help him out when you're out on your adventures. Nyx has a whole host of additional things that you can do with Nyx compared to what you could do in the Star Wars Jedi game, though. So BD1 was limited in terms of what you could do with Nyx. In any given situation, you can choose to ask it to attack, to distract an enemy, to steal things. You've even got it to do a sort of sense. It's similar to, again, going back to Assassin's Creed. There's some similarities between these two games from what I've seen. An
The
ability to
same
sort of,
company.
yeah, exactly. A sort of ability to sense things around them. So at the very least, I'm saying a him, maybe it's a she, I'm not sure. But at the very least, you can see enemies. I'm assuming that you could sense other objects or things maybe as well. It's very similar to the eagle vision, the eagle sense that you have in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it was thinking of reminding me of an old game I played that's still going, World of Warcraft. I
Yeah.
love being a hunter and having my pet who can attack. Um, but this looks like it's gone like the hunter's pet to 10, or at least about 5 because there's a few abilities there. And yeah, I like the idea of being able to use Nyx as a extra persona to yourself, about to do extra bits like thief, grab stuff, sense stuff, actually ask for advice and searching away. That is a handy, nice thing, and it does. It adds something different to me to the game that I like this idea of because it's different. Yeah, you had the games I think of Mass Effect. You can put your companions where you want them. Star Wars: The Old Republic, or as I said, animal when they're in WoW, you can send them off to attack, or you can pull them nearer you. But again, that's almost one, maybe two-dimensional. I know there's a bit more to it in some of the Mass Effects games, but it's still very limited from this. And I would be very interested to see how this works out. And maybe one day when I get an upgrade to my PC or something else, if this is still intriguing, I will definitely buy this. Uh, buy this.
Oh yeah. No, I do not blame you. Anything else on gameplay? Let's think. Lockpicking looks very, very good. So I'm calling it lockpicking. It's like using a data spike to access data or access locked things. There's some type of puzzle minigame involved in unlocking that stuff, which is a mechanic you see in many different games, but I think that's pretty good to see with a little Star Wars twist.
Yeah, no, again, that looks interesting. Remind me, not quite of a Mass Effect, but again, there's a couple of those in Mass Effect, but it looks
Yeah,
different. So I'm interested to see how that works. Yeah, in real life when they're actually using it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also, when you come to weapons, you've got Kay's blaster. So that's the default weapon that Kay has. You've got abilities to upgrade the blaster, which is good. That's what we want. I would assume there's some form of customization on that as well. Fingers crossed. And you're not just locked to using that blaster. If you're in a given situation and there are other weapons lying around, or you've killed someone or knocked someone out, and there's their weapon lying there, you can pick up their weapon and use that until it's depleted, and then you drop it and go back to your blaster again. That adds a very
Oh, cool. I'm
different
glad you.
kind of
It actually makes sense in a real life scenario. Remember the games where you loot something and you get a load of complete random uh whatever, and
yeah.
it's just like, and it's like, really? Okay, fair enough.
And again,
Which is fair.
I'll take it back to Assassin's Creed again. You have that ability to pick up, at least in the older Assassin's Creed, if you knock someone out or someone, you have the ability to pick up their weapon and use it. And I've
Cool.
not seen that in very many games, to be fair. Beyond, just looting people and getting, as you say, random things. And I guess thinking about the last part of gameplay, maybe talking a little bit about syndicate affiliation.
Yeah, I may start bringing the wanted level into this a little bit,
Yeah.
but I I like the idea of both of these. Let's keep. I'm going to start off with syndicate affiliation. There's definitely three I've heard of: Crimson Dawn, Hutt Cartel, Pike Syndicate. And also, I saw written down. I was on a PC magazine site, Seeker Clan, which I think may be another one. And I like the idea uh, of trying to keep good with some, and not necessarily, and others being your enemies. I mean, again, I'm interested in how this works. I really want to play. Is like, can you make them all happy, or are you going to end up with them all out? If you're really good favor was one, or you very bad favor was another, and how that interferes with your gameplay or adds to your gameplay, and how you can get around these, if you can get around any of these. I know with some of them, if you're not on good terms with these, you can't access certain vendors and get certain missions potentially. Um, I don't necessarily want it that if you come within half a mile of, let's say, the Hot Cartel, where kill your enemies. You get 50 NPCs that are top level jumping on you and killing you in half a second. But I wouldn't mind having the situation where you could try to make certain areas that they belong to breaking into the area, uh, or a building or a fortress, potentially. There's also another thing. I am being a bit back and forth here on different little things. I have seen a bit where you can actually bash up something and then it starts losing your reputation with that group.
I have missed that. That sounds good.
Yeah. Just one clip in a uh, one of many videos. So, but that definitely intrigues me. And yeah, no, I like that. And I'm also wondering if you upset any of these, how if the wanted devil is in effect any goings on with this, or whether that's just any goings on with the Empire, or a bit of both. I am intrigued how that works because when I think of the Wanted Devil, I think of Grand Theft Auto. I
Yep.
have not played the most recent one, so I'm thinking like San Andreas and Vice City, and some of the even older ones than that. So it's, but that's what I'm thinking with those. It's just like, yeah, anything bad, then you suddenly get 1 star, 2 star, etc. I've been talking for a bit. Please help me with, or not help,
You are on
join
a
in.
no. You are on a roll. The wanted level. I'm very interested to see just how much that scales. If it does scale up, I hope it does, and it gets worse and worse and worse to the point that you've got
And
death
how easy it
troopers
is
coming
to
out
get
after
out
you.
of it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and
And
that's
what
the point.
happens
Sorry.
if you get to, and what happens if you get to a certain, if you get caught as well?
What happens if you get caught? Absolutely. I've also I have heard an NPC as you walk past them mention something about speaking to them about getting rid of your wanted level. So there's obviously there must be places you can go to pay money to reduce the wanted level down,
Oh,
which is an
that's
interesting
interesting.
little way of doing it, and it makes sense, doesn't it? Bribe them to reduce your level again, similar to what you have in Assassin's Creed with their wanted system.
What? So for other people and me, especially me, what's the Assassin's Creed
So
like?
it might be in some of the newer games, but it's definitely in the original set of games. If you think back to Assassin's Creed 2 Brotherhood and Revelations, which are the trilogy with Ezio Auditore in Italy, and then you move to other places through the games. But what happens in there is if you conduct yourself in a per way, whether it's robbing people or beating people up or killing people, it adds up your notoriety. And then when it gets so high, the authorities start chasing you on sight. And depending where you are in the different cities and whatnot, there can be quite a lot of guards. And they can swarm on you pretty quick, so it can actually get a little bit tough after a while. Very good fun if all you want to do is swish your sword around for a little while though and practice some of your sword fighting skills.
That's cool. I send to that. I wonder if it's just going to be stormtroopers completely. If it's the Empire, or people are going to send bounty hunters after you. I'm intrigued in that as well because I've heard there's potential. This was a syndicate part for bounty hunters to come after you.
Let's hope for the latter as well. The more the better, the more variety the better. Just to round off on that piece, the four clans, not four clans, the four syndicates, let's
Syndicates.
call them, that we have are the Ashiga clan, the Pike Syndicate, Crimson Dawn, and the Hunt Cartel.
Yeah. So that, yeah, that's what I've got written down. But I thought there was three up until today, actually, to be honest. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Now, I love the idea of all these open worlds stuff, reputation, and wanted levels. Any opinions on the story? We have not heard much, and I don't think there is much out there in the XX stories.
We have
Any?
yeah, we have not heard much about story at all, but I'm very, very happy for that. One of the things I look for most in any game I tend to play is the story. It's the story that brings me into most games. And I hate spoilers with an absolute passion. So I'm glad they've not talked about anything from a story mission point of view. In terms of giving away any details, I am excited, looking forward to exploring a sort of underworldy scoundrel story within Star Wars in a game. We've not really had much of a shot at that before outside of games like Star Wars: The Old Republic. Side missions, obviously, we've had a little bit of exposure to a couple of side activities and side missions. I think one of the ones that we were showing was when you're looking for a contact to teach you an ability. I think we're looking for a gunslinger to teach you an ability, and you have to go and obviously try and track this person down. So you've got a couple of locations to go to track them down, and we got to see a little bit of again gameplay, going back to the outside for a second. Things like how you can stealth, how you deal with being caught, the different sort of play styles involved in that. So the side missions look, fingers crossed, varied. Hopefully, I'm hoping they're not too repetitive because you want to keep engaged. And
Yeah, I hope it doesn't get too repetitive. I don't want too many. The atypical MMO thing. Don't get sticks at animal hides.
no,
I wasn't know.
no, not
Yeah,
that. Definitely not that. The other thing on activities I want to talk about is mini games.
yeah.
I've
I
mhm.
definitely do as well.
Go on.
I
You want to go
hope,
for something
first of all,
first?
before we get to that, I hope there is a decent story in this as well. I want, as in, it's not, as in, I want to have able to have conversations, and it's a meaningful story throughout the open world and the wanted level syndicate affiliation, etc. It's just adding to that. It doesn't have to be the longest story in the world or the biggest story, but I hope it is. But yes, side games, mini games. Oh God, yes, I am looking forward to doing some of those. Whether it's the cards, horse. It's not horse racing, but the animals, horsey-like animals that you have,
Yep.
etc., etc.
Yep. The little Space Invader
And then,
type game that we got a preview of
yeah,
as well.
yeah, no, definitely. Would be happy to spend some time in that. I heard, including was helping Nick's in the cards one, and hearing potentially advice throughout thing for horse racing as well. That you could hear ones about people throwing races and stuff like that. You can hear stuff and
Mm.
potentially cheat in cards as well. These, or at least in the card games. That sounds interesting to me.
If you actually can, that would be so, so fun. And imagine the fallout if you got caught. That would be a proper
Yes,
scoundrel situation you'd find yourself in.
yeah, and that would be very Han Solo, um, uh, Lando Calrissian
Hmm.
of thing going on there.
Absolutely, it
Uh,
would. Oh, that would be great. That would be absolutely brilliant to see. Mm. Was there
no,
anything
so
else that you wanted to talk about in terms of activities? Because I've probably got two more things I want to talk about, which kind of flip between activities and gameplay.
no, on these activities, not much. Um, but I hope with some of these things there are multiple ways of doing things. So we've talked about that potentially in the cards, and some of the missions. And you have a way where A, you can go through the front door, B, maybe sneak through another way, or B, C, go through another way. I hope that's definitely a thing. Olympus, go ahead.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. The last two things I want to talk about is the Trailblazer and the speeder bike that you've got. So we'll kick off with the Trailblazer. Looks like a very cool ship. I think, I might be wrong here, but I think I've read and heard that it's from the pre-Empire era, and it's kind of it's the last of its kind now. It's a very unique
Makes
looking
sense,
ship.
maybe I haven't heard that, but it makes sense that you haven't necessarily got the most up to date, most modern one in the world, and you're
Indeed.
not necessarily the best. not necessarily the best, but you're not necessarily the smuggler that's necessarily forefront and the most successful yet.
Yeah, you have the engines that move into a different position depending on the speed you're going as well, which is a nice little touch. You've got different cosmetics you can use on it, and it is upgradable as well. That's been confirmed too, which is good. And then the speeder bike, which looks great fun to ride. It looks fast.
I
It
love it. I
Yeah,
want to play. I want to drive that.
me too. It looks fast. It looks maneuverable. It's even got you've got the ability to sort of remote call it to get away quick if you have to, which looks really really good.
Oh,
Um,
oh, cool. Um, yeah, I like this. Do like the sound of that. Wonder if you can use it everywhere. The bike. That's
Ooh, that's a point. Can you just call it in the middle of a busy, bustling town, or are you restricted in terms of where you can use
yeah.
it?
Because I have not seen the bike in a town setting or city setting, so I have a feeling we may be restricted on that. But look forward to it. And for me, the the mounts. Oh, this is coming from a Star Wars: The Old Republic sense here. When I say mounts, the bikes, etc., that I kind of prefer are the ones that more look more like bikes and stuff in real life. And I do, let's say, the speeder bikes that you would see in the original trilogy or the bigger taxi type ones. I like the what that style of bike that's in Outlaws, and even the tractor type one that Ray had in the Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of mounts that I absolutely adore so much, so much. And it's like, yeah, for me, rather that than a spaceship.
No, absolutely. Feel the same. And on that, I think we've covered off everything. Was there anything else you wanted to chat about on this before we wrap up?
So much, but no, I'm looking forward to it, and I am very peeved that I can't, I say, play it straight away. But I know I'm going to be watching somebody who is. So
Yes.
Olympus.
Yes, yes. So I am going to be streaming Star Wars Outlaws from Tuesday, the 27th of August. I'll be streaming that on Twitch in the evening, so probably from about 8:30 p.m. UK time. All going to plan. I'll have my streaming stuff sorted out and running on YouTube as well, so you'll be able to catch me on my YouTube channel too. Both Twitch and YouTube, it's at Olympus0511. So I'll be streaming that on Tuesday night, on Wednesday night, and then all day Thursday, the 29th, and day one official launch Friday 30th as well. So there'll be plenty of Star Wars Outlaws content to explore through that in the very, very near future.
Oh, cool. Look forward to actually seeing it and my views in real life of watching it. If you do want to see anything of me, I'm at Trek Wars and Fantasy. I do lots Star Wars stuff. I actually made that Lego one. I have to do more. I play other Star Wars games, and also, if you notice, there's a Trek part in that. I am a Star Trek fan as well, so I do stuff with that. So play games as well as me and Olympus do Thoughts Across the Stars, where we rate and rank and talk about all things Trek and Wars in a top five list.
Absolutely, trying to pit each one against each other every single week to work out which franchise beats the other across various categories. I think we're hitting episode 23 very, very shortly. So it's been going for a while now. I've been having lots and lots of fun with that. So please do check that out on the Trek Wars and Fantasy page on YouTube.
Thank you very much, and I hope to see you all there um, as well. So, what I can say is, may the force be with you
May the
always.
Force be with you always.